Greetings, fugitives! Welcome back to Disenthrall. I am Patrick Smith. Today we have extra special guests, Chad and Nadia, the original Seasteaders, on the run right now, unfortunately. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
The pleasure is all mine. The chance is all mine. I want to kind of pick up where our listeners, our viewers left off. The last time we talked about seasteading was when I was lucky enough to interview, Joe Quirk. I knew his name until just now. Last year at Anarchapulco, we had an interview with Joe Quirk where we really dove into the details of the program and what they're doing and the amazingness of it and the chance to have freedom in our lifetimes by, creating a seastead out in the middle of the ocean. And we talked about the mechanics of it and all this stuff. And so my producer, Kaysen, who you will know, and I were pretty excited about the project. And we were even talking about crowdfunding a documentary where we would travel to meet you guys out in the middle of the ocean and spend time with you. And right about the time that we were kind of beginning to plan that,
yes,
what happened?
The Thai Navy decided that we were a threat to their national sovereignty, so they came after us. Because Nadia can tell you how we found out about that.
My friend have messenger me on Facebook that, hey, you see this new? I said, no. Okay, let me check on the news. So check on the news, I see some part that they say we are going to create a nation and have build somehow out there and a trade international. I think they just grab all the news put together and say they have the news from bitcoin.com and things like that. And I can know what will going to happen next, like exactly that they're going to do something very bad with us. So
you were from that country, so you knew how the media worked and what was going to happen and how the government worked with the media.
Yes.
So you were able to get out in time, luckily.
Yeah, just right away. We can wait.
And so I'm talking with Chad on Facebook, and I'm trying to set up an interview so we can have him on the show to talk about it. And then right in the middle, he has to basically go dark. He can't talk, he can't communicate because governments are watching him. And it turns out, I didn't know, though I was dying to know, I was worried about them. I didn't know, but you guys were on a boat, like in the middle, in the ocean, going from country to country it's like a sailboat with a little engine.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of sailboat was that?
It's actually a pretty nice 42-foot sailboat. Our engineer Rudy, it was his boat, and so he's like, we both have sailboats, and we were gonna leave on both of them, but we decided that morning, like, okay, let's just get in one so we don't have to deal with the two boats. So I left my boat in Thailand. It's still sitting there right now. Anybody want to buy a boat in Thailand? Go. But
I'm a sailor myself, so and I was thinking to myself when I heard your story today, wow, they were lucky it was a sailboat because you guys were out in the ocean for days on the run. How long were you out there?
It was 10 days. Well, the difficult part about we tried to get to Malaysia because we were like, okay, we'll just head to Malaysia, go to Kuala Lumpur, get on a flight, go to the U.S. We were a little ignorant in our flight because we had no internet. We couldn't look things up. Google was not our friend when we had no phones. Yeah. Because when we found out about it, we basically turned our phones off so that they wouldn't be able to track us as we're getting out of there. And as we got to Malaysia, and we didn't have exit stamps from Thailand, which you need an exit stamp. I didn't really know much about the whole passport thing. It's like you need the exit stamp to get the entrance stamp in the next country. So they're like, where are your exit stamps? And we're like, well, we can't go back to Thailand because they want to kill us. So they're washing their hands of it. They're like, just go back. Get out of here.
The guy say, just exactly like in the movie.
Yeah. He's like, this is like in the movies. It can't be true. And you're like, but because he had taken our passports at one point, and once I was able to say, can I get my passport just to go register, get a SIM card? He gave all our passports back. He's like, I talked to my manager. She's coming down, but she'll tell you we can't do it. And the fact that we had our passports in our hand, I was like, let's get out of here. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Malaysia wouldn't have been a safe place anyway, you found out.
Right. Because they have extradition treaty with Thailand. So they could have sent us back if Thailand requested it. Just, oh, hey, these guys, get them at the airport and send them to us.
So it was kind of a good thing that maybe you didn't get in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that then left you with a small amount of fuel left in your boat, a small amount of food and water. How was your situation out on the ocean in your boat?
Well, that was the tricky when we were there at the immigration. We didn't know what we were gonna do. So we had a couple baht in our pocket. So it was like, oh, let's change this for I forgot what the currency is of Malaysia, but we exchanged, got a local currency, and I just had maybe $100 in my pocket. So we exchanged that. Rudy actually he'd pulled out a lot of money out of the bank account because, you're on the run, you're going to need a lot of cash. He had like about $1,000 in Thai baht, but it was all on the boat. So we get on the boat, we just have my little $100 worth of rupees or whatever it is, and that had to get us all the way down to Singapore, getting gas, getting food, everything. So we were in a lot of trouble going down.
So how long? Tell us about the journey from Malaysia to Singapore. Like, how long did it take you, and what was it like?
It was 10 days. Because we couldn't fill up with fuel, I showed in the video that we ran into some trouble at one place getting fuel because we got there and but she can tell you because she's the one that saw it about the guy with the camera.
Oh, the guy with the camera. I'm a tiger with Farang. That what on the news that people looking for, and I saw one guy that on the station selling oil. They park the boat. They get ready to sell the oil for us. But I saw the guy right there. He looked like the bot or something. He hold up the phone like this. Look like he take a video or picture of us. And then one of the guy working there go and ask him. And the answer is come back, tell us that they cannot sell the oil for us, the gas for us.
So you were trying to buy fuel.
Yeah.
They recognized you probably, and they said no, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So then you were out at ocean for how long? How many days?
10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
And you were running low on fuel and food and water? What did you do for water?
It's water.
The rain, the ocean, we ran out of. We had some drinking water, so fortunately we were able to do enough to be able to drink water through the whole thing. But our toilets were running on water. The toilet ran out of salt water, but
Shower.
the showering and washing dishes, everything else was we used fresh water for that, but we couldn't do anything. So
you didn't have the device to make new fresh water or anything? You just had like a stock, but it was enough. How about food? Did you run out of food?
We ran out of the food for the last 2 days. I mean fresh food, and after the last 2 days we have the food from the can, like the fish can and things like that. Mama soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
This is wild. And so back then you were engaged, right? Not married yet? Or were you married yet?
We just boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
We just a boyfriend and girlfriend,
That was kind of our proposal was, because our original plan was to go to the U.S. I was like, well, okay, it looks like we're going to have to get married. And I was like, oh, yeah, want to get married?
Wait, on the boat?
Right, as we were on the...
So on the boat, when you're in the middle of the ocean in this life and death situation, that was when the proposal happened? That is the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Rudy end up
And scary. What?
Rudy end up with the guy who in the surf. What he be? Rudy.
Rudy, the captain.
Yeah, and then he said, "Okay, you guys marry."
Well...
What that part?
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess in theory he could have married us, but actually she said no. Or actually she didn't say yes. she didn't say no, but she didn't say yes. She's like, because I mean, our whole world is crumbling around us, and you know, our lives are being destroyed. And she's like, I don't know what to think anymore, because you know, before it's like, oh yeah, we can get married, the whole living in a beautiful house and picket fence and all that, and then this
Before
whole
I'm
thing.
begging him to get married with me. Right, let's get married. I have a dream. I want to get on the dress, beautiful married dress, and have a wedding like all the girls they have. He said, no, no, no. What the point to get married? If they not love you, you get married, you happy? And things like that. Now,
That's
that
true.
day...
Anarchist approach to marriage is like, why do I have to ask the government to get permission? It's like, we're together. Exactly. It's like, why do we have to do that? So I'm explaining all this to her, but she's like, I don't care about all that. It's just, let's get married. So, but.
And so then you changed your mind on the boat? And
she
changed her mind on the boat?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, he make me get to the point that he tell me from the beginning that why he don't want to get married. Now, when he asking me for marriage, I'm get back to the point that he gave me, and I understand why he don't want to get married.
No, she got to that point.
I got
she
to
finally
that
got to the point.
Makes sense. So you survived the ocean. You got to where?
We got down to Singapore, and fortunately, we had just enough fuel to get around Singapore, and because we'd saved so much fuel by sailing the whole time. It was horrible sailing because it was all, the wind was at our back, which is great for if you have what's that called, bimini or whatever that is, but we didn't have that, so you have to go sideways.
So you're tacking out of the wind.
Tacking all the way down, and there was one night that she was taking over for us, and well, with the wind coming in your back, the waves are coming from your back. So if you go sideways, the waves are just bouncing you sideways. So she was kind of taking us on a better angle, so it wasn't as uncomfortable.
We need to go that way. The wind come, I don't know where the wind come from, but the boat had to go that way to follow the wind. So basically I go like really far just to have time for them to take a nap, because they're driving the boat all day, all night, to raining storm, to the rain and things like that. So I wake up in the morning, I feel like we go that far and then we have to sail back.
That's what sailboats are like sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's been so long. We probably far away. It's like we made it 1 mile throughout the night.
How did you navigate? How did you know where you were?
We had, Navionics, had little charting software and everything.
So you had electronics for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew exactly that you had only gone a mile.
Yeah.
Sailing is a real skill, though. Do you enjoy sailing?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Basically, on that trip, we end up to know sailing, how to sail on that trip, 10 days to Singapore.
Experts.
We are become experts.
And it was a 40-foot sailboat, and you manned it by yourself?
Yeah, but before
three
that,
of us.
Rudy tried to teach us how to sail. By the way, we go back and forward to the floating house and come back to Phuket to land. We practice up on that.
Awesome. Okay, so you made it to Singapore. I remember in your talk, which you'll be able to watch when they release that video, that you were surrounded by multiple police ships that then escorted you around the country to the port of entry, where they boarded your boat and flexed their cop muscles and so then you made it into Singapore, and you were basically kind of safe at that point, or what was the level of safety? You were taking a deep breath. I mean, where were you at that point?
Well, Singapore actually does have extradition to Thailand, but it's more they can decide as if it's like, oh, okay, you murdered someone in Thailand, now you're trying to hide in Singapore, we don't want you. So they would send somebody back. But we were fairly secure that if anybody, if we were in the U.S., if we were in Singapore, and they heard our case and we could actually go to a real court, that it would be laughed out of court. So we weren't too scared about Singapore, but we didn't want somebody causing trouble for Singapore, which would motivate them to want to get us out of there. So immediately we booked our flight out of there. Rudy, the engineer, he was like, he wanted to do like a big victory party. Let's go out to the nicest restaurant and like, big,
Have some glass of wine and have some fancy dinner, and like we make it to Singapore. No, we not feel safe, so we fly out from the next day. We stay one night and fly out. For me, the point at safe every immigration that we pass. Paris, every Panama. Gracias.
Right, we made it.
So you flew to Panama.
Yeah.
Why did you fly to Panama? And also, why wasn't the United States an option?
Right. That all has to do with Thai visa. The U.S., basically we still can't go to the U.S. right now, even though we're married. The visa process for Thai people is super difficult. So there was no way we could have gone to the U.S., even though when we were going to Malaysia, we thought that was our plan. But fortunately, we had internet by then. Thank you, Bitcoin, Bit Refill. We were able to fill up our phone with the Bitcoins.
Yeah. And
so we had plenty of internet, so we were able to look up all the nations of the world and how long a Thai person could stay with visa free. Is between Panama and Georgia, and Panama seems a lot more hospitable than Georgia.
So it's the U.S.'s fault that you weren't able to go to the U.S. because it would be harder for her to get permission to come in, specifically from Thailand. Like they have specific rules that make it more difficult for people from Thailand.
Well, the U.S. Mostly doesn't allow second world, third world countries to go in visa free. It's very, very difficult to get in there.
Okay. All right, fascinating. I'm just not familiar with the process. What a quagmire of drama and garbage. This is a couple. You're now married now, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this is a couple that was like minding their own business, basically in the middle of the ocean in a little floating hut, and somehow the Thailand government saw that as a challenge to their sovereignty. Like they're so fragile that one little married couple in the middle of the ocean can challenge their nation's existence. That is absurd to me, and I'm sorry that you guys are going through this. So you're in Panama now. You've been there for a while. You're safe. Things are chill. And we're now kind of working on something new called sea pods. Is that right?
Yes. Sea pods and land pod. About that part is everything will be floating. And we have two versions on it. The first version will be in shallow water. We will make it like a hotel or timeshare, and I think Chad know more about business part.
And we'll show some pictures as we talk about this. So you have some new fancy looking pods. Right. Is there any new technology under the water, or is it still basically the same thing where it's ballasted underwater? And
we changed it for the shallow water version because in Thailand the deep water version is just one long spar. The deeper it goes, the more balanced it is. But for shallow water, we go outward with the spars. So the further out we go, the more balanced it is. So we're taking, a whole new approach. And we got full cooperation from the Panamanian government. Joe Quirk and Seasteading Institute came down, and Ocean Builders. We had our friend who's now CEO of Ocean Builders, Grant. He went to visit all the ministers of tourism and up to the presidential, an advisor to the president. Very good friends with us now, and we're keeping them up to date on everything. So we have all the permission from Panama. They're happy to have us there, and we're pushing the whole tourism. This is bringing money. I mean, it would have been brought money to Thailand too. But
well, you were a threat to their sovereignty, so
yeah. I mean, fortunately, Panama gets it. Like, yay, we're gonna have tourism and a whole new industry built in our country, and it's gonna benefit them. It'll benefit us. So, this is the first step toward some big big things coming.
So I'd like to compare and contrast. The previous project was you in what should have been considered international waters, outside of jurisdiction of pretty much anyone. And that was kind of part of the point of it, right? And I remember seeing the original videos, and I was talking to Joe, you're basically able to govern yourselves when you're outside those jurisdictions. This new project seems to be under the permission and under the, I don't know what the word would be, jurisdiction of the Panamanian government, so you're much closer to their territory. I'm assuming you have to get approvals for things that you're doing. Can you talk about the change in jurisdiction, why you guys decided to do it in their jurisdiction as opposed to try and farther out again, things like that?
Right. In Thailand, we proved the concept that we can live in the open ocean on this technology, the spar, and we were 13 nautical miles out, so no territorial laws, and that was our plan to build a bunch more of these. We were constantly getting a lot of complaints about the size of our things and everything about it. So in Panama, we're not 12 nautical miles out. But we want to work more on the process of getting the technology, the engineering, get everything all taken care of along that line, those lines where we can do it easily right next to the water while bringing in income for the company and growing, so that when we do, again, get to the point where we're 12 nautical miles out, we've got all the manufacturing process, we can be popping these things out, a couple of months.
So what I'm hearing is that you've basically decided, and it sounds like a smart idea, to just sort of find a government that's either on board or at least wants to leave you alone, so that you can figure out how to do this on the big scale. Right. And then once you can build these things, people can place them wherever they want. Wink, wink, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be registered as a houseboat. So These are the exact same as having a boat. There's more, the Panamanian flagged boats are the most flagged boats in the world. So it's great to have your boat flagged in Panama. So it's...
I see. Can you tell me about what flagging a boat means for the people that don't know, and why that would be important to have it flagged as opposed to not flagged?
Right. Well, that was some of the criticism that we got from some of the main seasteaders, Patrick Friedman. He's like, and the lawyers involved with the seasteading institute, they're like, you really should have flagged that seastead. But
can you tell us why that's important?
Because without it flagged, then you're not under protection of any nation. When you put a flag on it, it's as if you are, even if you have that flagged vessel sitting off the coast of Miami, you're under the jurisdiction of Panama. So the U.S. doesn't really have any jurisdiction on your boat, even if you're sitting off the coast of Miami. So you can do whatever you would be able to do in Panama, which outside of Panama, you don't have to pay taxes and all that. So you could do all that on your flagged vessel. This is why cruise ships are flagged under different flags, not from whatever country they're in. So they're considered flags of convenience, where you want to be flagged under a country that you want to live under their laws. So it allows you to basically live in some other country without living in that country.
I see. Okay, so how is Panama? Like, you've been there for a while now. Are you happy there? Is it comfortable? Is it nice? Like, how is it? How are they treating you?
They're teasing us kind of nice. I love seafood. It's cheap, tuna cheap, lobster cheap, everything cheap and fresh, right? And I like the temperature. I like the sea. I like the beach. It's quite similar at Thailand, but the people, some people is same all over the world. Some they're nice, some they're not nice. Similar.
How about you?
Well, I mean, the whole thing for Panama, for people that enjoy freedom, is there's no central bank. They have no military, really. They've got border control and they've got like a national guard, but they have no navy. They're very business friendly. People go there to open up their businesses so they can say, oh, I have a Panamanian business. There's cryptocurrency used all over the place. When we first got there, we had no banks. We had no access to our U.S. banks. So I had my Bitcoins, and I just went to, there's a casino, there's stores with Bitcoin ATMs, and just like, okay, I'm going to live off of this Bitcoin ATM thing for a couple months.
Awesome. Okay, so next steps are what, I think you said earlier, 3 to 9 months ish until you have a new one of these new sea pods that you guys are going to then begin living on again, or what's the plan?
Yep.
I have him say.
Okay.
Yeah, when we create the first model, it's going to be called LV. Our first model was called Ixlii, XLII, which translates to number 42. I'll let people figure out what LV stands for, but it'll be the first model, so we'll live in it, kind of show people, same thing. You do videos, show people what living on one of these is like, and then hopefully we're going to be building many, many more. We got the sea pod. We're building a sea platform, which is just our sea pod without the home. We're just making a 12-meter wide steel plate, because there's so many seasteaders that have their own vision of what design they want. So they're like, oh, I would do this, I would do that, I would do a dome or whatever. It's like, great, build it. We'll give you the basically the little land to build your home on. And yeah, we want it to be big. We want Airbnbs, rentals, anybody's. We understand that most people are living in the U.S. or at home where they actually have a job. They can't just pick up and go to Panama. So we're offering shares, like, just buy, 1 week a year, and you can just come enjoy freedom for a little bit and see what it's like. I mean, the beginning, we're hoping, that's why we're at Anarchapulco, because we want our neighbors to be freedom-loving individuals. And
woke.
Exactly. Woke.
So you said on the main stage. She was hilarious. Okay. Guys, I will continue to follow you. I'll definitely keep messaging you and reaching out to see how things are going. And we're definitely not going to begin planning any kind of trip out there, because we know what happened last time we did that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I would love to come visit you guys once something's put together. So thanks for spending time with me today.
Thank you.
It is an honor and a pleasure to meet you and to talk to you guys. So thanks for being with us.